Retweet?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay.
Hi, guys. We're back with Isaiah Washington. We restarted. Hopefully, everybody is good now. So to dive back in, anybody who missed the beginning of the first one, Isaiah, if you don't know already, fantastic actor. He is well known for his roles in Grey's Anatomy, The 100. He was in a bunch of Spike Lee films. He won Best Outstanding Actor from the NAACP Awards and the Screen Actors Guild Awards, the SAG Awards. And he has been very vocal, very openly, vocal about what his views are on politics. And, if the far left in Hollywood doesn't like it, he kind of hasn't really given a damn. So that's why we have him on today, because he's just a crusader for truth. So
and an individual with his own thoughts, and that's why we're here today. We want to hear what your thoughts are, Isaiah. With all the nuance, this is what the show is about: is getting that nuance across.
Yeah. So my first question is, you have similar background to me, being in Hollywood and being very vocal. I've definitely received a ton of pushback, so I'm very curious if you've had the same experience.
I've been receiving pushback from my frequency and understanding of various things since I was 8 years old. As I was saying earlier, I've always been a Frederick Douglass Republican without a home. I've only voted 2 times in my life. And both of those votes was wasted on President Obama. Former military, could not vote. Could do the mail-in, but it was not advised. When you're in the military, whoever the commander-in-chief is, that is your boss. So whatever they say, you do it. Right? That's the military. So my experience in civics actually started in high school in the 80s when I won a debate talking about how I thought just to be different. I just wanted to be different. Let me learn something about Ronald Reagan. And sure enough, I said that he would go down in history as becoming the greatest president that ever lived. Now, the reason why I found that out is because I read it in a book I found through Microfiche, a book called Soledad Brothers, written by George Jackson, who actually said that corporations would pick this man who worked for GE, who would become the first SAG after union president, and then would become governor, and then would become president. That was back in in the 70s.
Wow.
That was in the 70s. So when I look at that kind of education and inculcation that I tripped up on at the age of 18 before I even went into the military, and then saw the things that I saw and then participated in things that I participated in, and seeing the levels of hypocrisy and corruption, I'm coming to the place of this age and understanding that I think I understand what's going on. It's always easy to call the other guy corrupt when you can recognize it. I haven't talked to any other blue check that looks like me that I realize I'm thinking, this is just a theory. And it just hit me actually when I was in the shower. I have to ask, why do people fight so hard at a particular age in their life? And why does the military need young people to be in the military? Why do whomever it is, these old heads that are fighting for power, and it hit me when a conversation with his name will remain nameless, who happens to be Black, African-American, or whatever, but I think is a pretty reasonable, decent human being I've known for over 20 years, journalist, or was. And he said to me in an event in Atlanta, he said, Isaiah, do you realize how much money I can make being invested in a Democratic mayor as a Democrat? You have any idea I can build my foundational wealth with that relationship? And I said, that's it. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
I'm not, just my theory. I don't want anyone to, I could be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. It's just that the conversations and all the tweets and all the pushback that you're saying we're going to be receiving, I'm fundamentally starting to question, okay, we got the what, we got the when, we got the where. Why? Why? Why are people willing to sacrifice so much? Collateral damage, as we call it in the military, human life. Pallets of bricks given to young, impressionable, and impassioned and glorious, hopefully one day, free-thinking, critical thinking minds, and rally their emotions and trigger that post-slave syndrome. We've seen this before. We can look in the 50s and look at the Gaza Strip and see people with their heads covered up, looking like the Mujahideen, or whatever, all over the world, throwing bricks. This is in the Bible. Why? And why now? You got people kneeling all over the world, but they weren't kneeling when Colin Kaepernick was kneeling, not officials. Come on. It's so disgusting to see something so horrible be politicized this way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
For one man, for one ideology. He's not even a Republican, guys. He was a blue Democrat. He's in there for the truth. And if people can't see how this optics and these smears, they happen to me. I'm not homophobic. I'm not anything people thought I was. I'm at work all the time. But if you Google me and you didn't meet me, I always say that if I met the Isaiah Washingtons and I read about it on the internet, I will smack him too.
Yeah. No, you were one of the original victims of cancel culture.
I didn't want to receive. I didn't want to receive that when someone said that to me, because it was, that's the other part about trauma and pain. You tend to repress things, or you want to. Excuse me. You go into denial about certain truths. Your natural reaction is want to rationalize, right? That's the human way. I want to make this make sense. So when, about 13 months ago, 10 months ago, in the middle of me being pushed out into this conservative space and forcing to say that, well, I have a problem with both parties. But now that I see what Trump is doing, I'm supporting him. And I'm supporting all the people that support him and his policies. All the MAGA people, they're not unkind. I've been called everything but the child of God by people that look like me instead of people that don't look like me. At least they're smart enough to think it and not say it. But I'm going to go back to my original point. I don't think it's about anything that the news media is saying about, because look at their ratings. They even have a bottom line. Look at Twitter themselves. Look how much money is being made off of whatever narrative is. And the negative, the more base, the faster it spreads. Truth is like a snail in a blizzard, man. But lies and outrage, people kneeling, National Guard kneeling now. You weren't kneeling during Hurricane Katrina. People go to work on Martin Luther King's holiday. The disingenuousness of it all.
So what do you think is different?
Dude, if you, God rest his soul, Ray Charles can see what's going on. Ray Charles can see what's going on right now. And I don't mean to be facetious. In the context of a blind man that is no longer here, the frequency of negativity and lie is so intense. If you can't see what's going on, that this is all a horrible and disgusting and despicable opportunity to politicize a crisis. All murder is bad. One murder. Okay? There's laws against that. I'm clear. You don't need to tell me that my Black life matters. And I'm not even the color black. Human life, human rights matter. But now, right, 6 months before the election, and everything has to be about Trump's fault when you have over thousands and thousands of municipalities and DAs and attorney generals and mayors that are all Democratic, have been for over 50-something years. And yes, the Republicans don't get a pass because you've been too doggone silent. Step the fuck up. Say something. Stop it. I don't need your white fragility. I don't need your guilt. I need you to tell your neighbors, I don't want you cutting my grass for free anymore. I'd rather pay you. Because if I get used to you being my neighbor cutting my grass for free, what happens when you stop wanting to cut my grass? Neighbor, I never asked you to cut my grass unless after you, I want to earn my way. I cut my own grass. Just get out of my way. I'll do my own thing. But now I realized, being in Hollywood, that I'm just another edition of other tropes and stereotypes. And that in a time 13 years ago when I thought I was being punished, Rodney, I realized I wasn't being punished at all. King Face told it best. King Face told me when our first conversation, I love him dearly, helped them get into the White House, get up to the president. They wanted me in that moment. And I told them, no, get King Face in there to meet the president. I have time. I just want to keep working for the president, and I want to see more, and I want to do my civic duty as a citizen, a law-abiding citizen. I don't care what anybody says. I love this country. I love my life. It has its issues, but we all do. I live all over the world, okay? But I was born here, and my ancestors helped build this place just like everybody else. So I think we need to get back on America first. We need to get back on why are we here right now? Because just several months ago, economic was booming, low income. Those the frequency that was coming out every day, whether the mainstream media wanted to report it or not. And now suddenly, we're on lockdown, wearing masks. We look just like freaking Hong Kong. Really?
Yep.
Shortly after the $250 billion tariff bill was made history, it was unprecedented and signed. During the impeachment proceedings, it's about money. It's always about money for everybody. It doesn't care your political affiliation, your nothing. It's always about the bottom line. I knew that in 1980. I mean, when you have a corporate executive lean in President Reagan's ear, the video's out there. He was giving a speech, and he leaned in his ear and tell the president of the United States to speed it up. Who really has the power? Look at the Act of 1871, guys. Look at your driver's license and see that your name is in all caps. Mm-hmm. We're all straw men here, not flesh and blood. And I really believe that someone like Trump, who is fighting both political parties to make them do things in 3.5 years in a bipartisan way, I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting the establishment on both sides, and that's something I appreciate, because people like Mitt Romney's of the world, they disenchanted me from politics. Like, I didn't want to be, I didn't trust the political system, period, because of people like Mitt Romney and people, like John Kerry, people like Al Gore, people like the Bushes. I didn't get the same sort of trust that they were going to really be working on a regular basis to fight for people and for real freedom, and that's what I see from the president that is different, is he's taking on the establishment, period, not just taking on the other side,
It's unprecedented. It's very interesting, isn't it? I think in respect of the horrible situations and incidents that have been transpired, people get hurt, people get dealing with injustices every day. I mean, let's face it, the outcry of the riot is the cry of people who have not been unheard. But I question why. Why? Well, it's indefensible to watch what happened to George Floyd. You can't comment on it. It's horrible. There's no argument. There's no debate. I don't care his past. Okay. There's no. I think all of us agree.
That's the thing. Yeah, I don't think it'd be hard pressed to find anybody at this point who disagrees that this isn't murder and that the cops shouldn't be brought to full justice. The media can't really even find anybody that disagrees.
But that's not what they want. That's not the narrative they want. Guys, we're under attack. I said this to Alan West. I said this to anyone who wants to listen. Now, when I say that, do you think, oh, wow, there's troops in the street. There's guns. There's people out there with guns. Oh, when I said this here, this is a psyop. Oh, with Isaiah, what are you I've been calling it for the last 3 months, like a playbook that I'm very familiar with myself. Do we not have National Guard in the streets? Do we not have threats and an indecision between General Mattis and Trump putting the military actually in the streets on American soil? Oh, I'm sorry. Have we never had a civil war on this land before?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure people down south at a long time was sitting up there sipping their julep going, Abraham Lincoln will never do that.
Yeah.
Right? And got assassinated for it. So there's an ideology of business,
right,
of elites that are serious, as the kid said on the straight, about that paper. They're serious. They've killed presidents before because of it. They've killed leaders before. And if we didn't have an issue to use to create all this discontent, we know the what, we know the where, we know, we know those. We got it, but the why, the bias is there. We got it, but why isn't? Some biases can keep us alive, and many biases are now killing. That's the elephant in the room that no one's talking about. Racism is on life support. It is not what it once was, and not being used how it was centuries and centuries ago. Slavery has happened all over the world and built empires all over the world. So if you give reparations for one, then you open up for lawsuits from around the world. So you got people kneeling. You got people kneeling in other countries just over one situation. So let's see people of color get reparations and then see everybody else get left out for being enslaved. You see how that works? You see how the legality and laws work? These words. I don't trust words anymore, man. I trust frequency. I trust love. I trust humanity. I trust what I feel. My lying eyes are not lying at me. I see what it is, and I'm old enough to see it. Look at this. This is wisdom. I've been here for a while. I was impacted by the 94 crime bill in New York, and I survived. I have been shot, and I've survived. I have done dark things, and I've survived. But the through line of it all, when I was younger, was I believed that I could be rich and famous. That television has been lying to me and is still lying. Why are our young people killing people over TVs? Is that not symbolic?
Wow.
What opiate, what is the most powerful luxury and opiate in the world? I've been in Fortaleza, where there was nothing but mules running astray because there was the new transportation mode of transportation, it was motorcycles. So you had wild donkeys all over the place. I wanted to try to save the donkeys in Fortaleza, Brazil, and Recife in Sao Paulo. In the deserts of Quixadá, they had a television with no windows. They had a television watching their football, which is soccer. There. They had a television. And they had Dr. Burke's voice speaking perfect Portuguese. And it dawned on me, I'm in the middle of what we'll consider in Quixadá, outside of Fortaleza, somewhere off the coast of Brazil, the northern region part, right? In Brazil. But they had a television. They had a kiosk where they can go watch YouTube. And now we have individuals that are killing other human beings that even look like them for TV. And we want to be shocked that that just happened overnight? No. We're living in an extraordinary time right now, guys and girls.
It's historic.
We will get to the other side. It's going to get uglier and nastier because of this thing called TV. But I'm here. I'm with you. I love you. I'm not afraid. I see the psyop. I'm prepared to continue to speak on your behalf, conservative, Democrat, liberal. It doesn't matter to me. I just want the truth. And I want people to do something. I want people to help people. I'm here because I want to be of service. I'm still an oath keeper. I've lived a great life in all of my trials and tribulations. I participated in a lot of drama myself. But when I look back on it, I always just spoke the truth. I never lied. I never started a fight in my life. I know how to end them. But I'm not a liar. That's one thing I'm not. I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. And now, yes, I was part of cancel culture because no one was ready to hear the truth from someone that looked like me, that was supposed to be in a platform that was enviable, that was whatever. I didn't know. I was busy working 18 hours, 6 hours a day. I didn't even know anybody cared about me. I thought I was like Ralph Ellison, the Invisible Man. I didn't even know anyone cared. I remember Patrick and I having a conversation like, are you serious? Why didn't anybody even care about us argument? And then it became something else because of an agenda.
Yeah.
Always the agenda. And the agenda was served. Now, isn't it interesting that I could come out of that, and then it's a coincidence that I'm sitting here supporting the most polarized president of our time.
Yeah.
Going through the same thing with media. I didn't ask for this, bro. I didn't get out of my bed going, oh yeah.
I tell people,
I can see how that works.
I wish I wasn't in this position. I wish that there was not the need to speak up. You know, I really wish there was that need, because I wouldn't have lost so much money the last like 2 years. Not, you know, it would have been great.
It's not making us rich. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. That's the thing that drives me crazy is the people who are like, oh, you're grifters. I made an incredible amount of money before coming out. And literally the only reason I almost did not come out was money. Me going, you know what? We have 3 kids. Maybe it's not the best thing for me to do that.
Go, go back. The only reason you didn't want to come out sick, conservative, was because of what?
Money. Because I knew that what would happen, the backlash, but my wife was the one who said, screw it. You've done really well. We have all these investments. We're good. If they blacklist you and you never make anything for them ever again, screw them. Let it burn down. Okay. Build something new. You know, and her telling me and inspiring me and having a strong woman behind me to be like, you know what? No, I support you 100%. Because really at the core of it, it was the worry that like, you know, am I being fair to my family, to my wife, to my kids, you know, to all of them, doing this, knowing the backlash it's going to give me. And yes. Having her support made me 100% go, you know what? I'm happy. I'm going to burn it down. And if I have to, I'll build something new, you know?
Well, now you can understand those young people as probably, in my opinion, is misdirected. They really believe the exact same thing that you're saying as well. They'd rather burn it all down if they don't feel that they're being treated properly or poorly. Now, what's happening is that the media is disgustingly conflating several different issues that are all important. And it's not heartbreaking, it's disgusting. I've been calling for a class action against CNN and MSNBC for that behavior. It's absolutely disgusting. They know the power of that television. They know the power of a narrative. They know the power of it and how they're wielding it. For their bottom line, it's just absolutely un-American. I'm sorry. And yes, a lot of atrocities had to happen to create We the People. Okay, I understand that. I get it. But God dog it, it's 2020. We have YouTube. We know the history. We've read all the books. We got it. We all know how we got here. Some were, I'm part of some were already here that look like me, called Californians with a K. Those who know the truth. Columbus didn't discover this joint. As a matter of fact, there was already a governing body that swore in George Washington when he took it over. So now we're talking about takers and givers. I'm a giver. I'm not a taker. I just want to live peacefully with all you doggone takers out there. Help me help you. Because what is happening is you're turning us givers, us generous, law-abiding citizens. You're making us a little overly concerned about our future and our children's future.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
We're too occupied, and we're running out of patience.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're speaking up because you're forcing us to. Most generous, good, law-abiding people just want to be left alone, right? We want to be able to have the freedom to have a job, to take care of the basics. Have love in our homes, food, shelter, education, clean water, the basics. And if you are in America, you're already ahead of the game with a whole lot of people that I even know personally in my native land of Sierra Leone, okay? Village is what I tried to help, but even there I dealt with corruption. Even there I had to tell someone to step off. I'm not supporting you anymore. I don't care what you've done for me. I don't agree with you anymore. I do not consent. I'm not interested. And I have a citizenship in that nation as well. I'm a citizen of Sierra Leone as well. But I'm never going to consent to tyranny. Ever. I don't care who's paying for it. And I don't advise any American law-abiding citizen to continue to not speak up. That's the least we can do. Mm-hmm. Many of the conservatives have been silent too long. Why? Because of white fragility, white guilt. Get over yourself. It's not about you. It's about humanity, damn it. Mm-hmm. This is a time. Seize the time. There used to be a little baby blue book that I read when I thought I wanted to be a Black Panther. And when I wasn't studying to be a socialist. When I had Mao's Little Red Black Book. I still have it. I've read Karl Marx. I got it. I understood it. Mm-hmm. But that was a different time. And now I'm older. And I realize people like us, immigrants, forced immigrants, we've always been conservative and religious and familiar. We love our families, our food and music, and have a good time. We don't want to go to war.
Right.
We're naturally very conservative groups.
Yeah. It's our strength, but also right in this time, it's our weakness, and it's requiring us to step up. I have a question for you, Isaiah.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, so I follow a lot of diverse opinions, and I think what plays into the white fragility conversation from a conservative woman's perspective, okay, is there's this narrative that if you don't subscribe to these tenets of what it means to do the anti-racism work, okay, that you're a racist or that you don't care about Black people's lives or you don't care about their communities. And conservatives actually have been doing the work and not putting it on Instagram. We actually believe, it's a different methodology. We actually go into these communities. We give. We volunteer.
Tangibles.
Right. So how do we have that conversation? Because it's consuming and it's flooding the narrative. How do we step up as conservatives and say, no, we do care, we do hear you, we do see you.
We just don't want to participate in virtue signaling.
But here's the thing. But we're not going to participate in these tenets that are directly tied to what you're talking about, money. Only in America can you be a white woman, liberal woman, writing a book about anti-racism and become a millionaire in the best-selling, best times New York seller list. Okay? I can't take the hypocrisy. How do we speak out against that effectively? And what does our activism look like? Tell me.
Give me your name one more time.
Landon.
Your name. Landon.
Landon.
You just said it. Landon, you just said it. You just answered your own question. I mean, that's everything you just said. I concur. I agree. You're absolutely right. Now, we have all these adjectives, words, homophobia, racism, virtue signaling, white fragility, liberals, conservatives. What is the frequency? What do you feel in your heart?
The frequency in my heart.
What do you feel in your heart?
Do. Stop talking. Do. Be the love. Be the change. Go in the communities. Talk to the people. What do you want? Do you want a choice to where you send your kid to school? Do you want cleaner water? Do you want less crime? Do you want less drugs in your neighborhood? That's what I want to ask. I want to hear it from them, not the media. Not white liberal women.
That's what I did. I did. They told me I could never build a school in Sierra Leone. It's the most corrupt country in the world because of blood diamonds. I wrote a book called A Man from Another Land. I spoke to all the senators who were all in bed. I even posted this on my Instagram, how I met Biden. I wrote about the connective tissue. I am very clear. I'm even more clear on where I am in this space, whether it's comfortable or I want to be here or not. I didn't know 13 years ago, 12 years ago. I was 12 years enslaved by public opinion, thought I was being punished, and I realized now that I wasn't being punished, I was being prepared for something even more beautiful, something even more glorious. And that is to have continued conversations of dealing with the frequency of love, dignity, humanity, and truth. Now, all sounds cliched, all sound hackneyed, but I don't care. That's what it's about. The truth. Yes. It's the truth. And if your truth is distorted and you have no boundaries, those of us who are no longer politically correct, are going to call you out on it.
Yep.
As we should, as human beings. No one should be enslaved in any form, shape, or manner. That is the principles of Frederick Douglass. Okay? He created the Republican Party. He started in 1854 because he wanted to fight all forms of slavery. So what forms of slavery do we have today? Pedophilia,
Many. Yeah.
sex trafficking, media, luxury, commerce,
Right.
spending, drugs, even more drugs. There are no poppy fields in industries in our nation, but there's poppy fields all over Afghanistan. Let's call it what it is.
Yep.
What are we defending poppy fields in Afghanistan for almost 20 years?
Right.
Governments, our poor foreign policies have been exposed by one man who's not a politician. And I gotta tell you, I'm so proud of that dude. What a boss. How dare he? How dare he expose all of this corruption in one of the greatest countries in the world that has projected nothing but violence and sex and drugs around the world and made it cool coming out of this place called Hollywood. So don't worry, Robbie. I'm working on something, brother. You'll get a chance to be free and be an artist and have your platform and just tell stories again. That's what you don't know. My show premieres June 15th. It's not so much I need to really say about that. You don't see me tweeting as much because I've said everything I need to say in those first 6 hours. I will be able to show the world on Fox Nation what I'm about and what I feel you're about. We're humans, and you're not going to make me feel bad or feel cliche because I'm feeling like a human. I don't feel good about bad things that happen to people. That doesn't. I don't get off on that. I'm not a sociopath or a psychopath, but I've been around. I've worked with enough of them, so I can recognize that low vibration and that frequency. And all I'm asking for people is just to remain not calm but firm. Firm.
Yep. How do we outreach to the Black community about the fact that how do we
stop calling it the Black community? That's a start. Stop calling it a white community. It's a community. That's the problem. Every time you say white, black, red, yellow, you stop your love. You stop the frequency. You stop the very thing you say you want to do. I'm not black, bro. I'm not black.
Internally, when I feel like I have to speak in that language to get my point across with somebody who speaks a different language, okay, leftist language.
Yeah.
When I feel and internally, I don't feel good about it because I don't like using that language. I've never thought of somebody else's by the color of skin. So why do I have to talk about it like that and give that life? I don't innately, I don't like speaking that way. It violates some kind of innate, force of love and how we see each other. So, that's something I have to look at and do the work in that. But how do I talk to somebody on the left who speaks in that language and say, I'm sorry, whose community is that? It disproportionately affects Hispanic and the brown and the black. I mean, how do you connect with people like that do refer to people in groups with names? How do you
because there's a misunderstanding on policy
but
too.
That's not how you want to talk.
Yeah, because I think a lot of those communities, they've been told for so long that Republicans are racist, Republicans are this, Republicans are that.
Acknowledge that it's a black community that needs help.
Yeah.
Where like the people need help.
What do you think?
All communities that are disenfranchised need help. And all the people that are kept in them for various reasons, some by choice, some by design. Okay? It's not about the words anymore. I know that sounds weird, and I really don't give a flying whatever. It's about the frequency. Our words have more power now during this time than they could ever have had in the last 3.5 years. What we say, and more important, the tone of how we say it can be making or breaking at this point. And only frequency that I am interested in at this point is love, respect, truth. You don't have to agree with my frequency.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with my experience. You don't even have to understand it. But if I am living in my truth and I feel I'm doing the right thing, you have to, guys, understand that psychopaths and sociopaths also have drawn the line in the sand and actually believe what they are doing is right as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the rub. Bad guys, villains on TV, Robbie, you know, the most interesting ones that I've played, I can't judge it. I have to believe it. I have to believe that what I am doing, murdering you, is the right thing to do. We've seen humanity do it under the name of God and Christianity for centuries. Mind our frequency, not our words. The words are useless at this point. We're at war, guys. We're in it. Cut the shit, cut the denial. You see it for what it is. We have National Guards in the streets of our cities. Accept it. Get over your shock. Get over, that's not what I want to see. Get over, I'm uncomfortable. Get over what I can do. If you pray, pray. If you believe in righteousness, stay righteous. If you're not a racist, don't be racist. If you're not bigoted, don't be bigoted. Remain it. If you're bigoted, stop it. If you're prejudiced, stop being prejudiced. If you're biased, some bias can save your life, but be aware that you're being biased, because that's the new enemy now. Mm-hmm. Bias is the new enemy now, and we all have them. The reason we have them is because we're trying to conceal our biases. We're trying not to become more biased. And that's why we ask these questions that we have no answers to other than the frequency that we know what is the truth. And right now, it's almost every man and woman for themselves. Circle the wagons, love yourself, love your family, love your God if you believe in that. And we have to focus on keeping America whole. Keeping America together, whether we love each other like each other. Like I said, I've never asked my neighbor to cut my yard. But if you get me comfortable just giving me a free cutting of my lawn, I'm going to get accustomed to that. And I might even get disturbed when you don't cut my grass on the day every Saturday you say you're going to cut it. Yeah. I don't ask the questions. I'm now inconvenienced. I don't care whether maybe you died, because now I've been lulled in the fact that I don't have to cut my yard myself. Mm-hmm. This is what happens when we're in a welfare state. When you cut people off a welfare state, there is no more democracy, because it never was. That's not how it works. It has nothing to do with all these other labels and colors and all this other stuff. A group of people have been forced into a welfare state and kept at bay in ghettos, no different than what was happening before Hitler took over. Accept that, understand that. You can't have democracy in a welfare state. We're sitting at home.
Oh no. Wait.
Oh, we got him back.
No. Yeah, are waiting on stimulus checks.
Yep.
And complain that they don't have them. Look at the history. Look at the models. Socialism is not supposed to be bad. It's supposed to work. Why is it a bad word now? Liberalism didn't start off being bad. Why is it a bad word now? Conservatism wasn't always a bad word. Why is it a bad word now? Guys, it's not about what do I think. It's about us individually asking ourselves, why are you making me think this way now?
Yeah.
With no solutions.
The media has a huge role. So, you know, what I wonder is, how do we effectively communicate to people who believe the media, who believe that Trump is a racist, believe he's a xenophobe, believe that he wants to, you know, hurt poor people, how do we get them on the right track, at least to question what they've come to believe? Because there are some people that I know are flippable because I've flipped them, but on a larger scale, how do we reach them?
Have them watch what I just said in the last 20 minutes, man. That's your answer.
Yep.
I'm not going to go round and round with this. I understand the narrative. I get it. I know what you need to show your audience. I've already said what I said. I've already tweeted it. I don't have those answers. I don't have a PhD to go for your how. I'm interested in the why.
Yep.
I'm not interested in how. I got the how. I know the how. I know why the how is there. I know why the what is there. I know where the where is. I got freaking martial law in my neighborhood, bro.
Yeah.
I got boarded up buildings just 2 blocks away. If I don't go out and get everything I need before 10 o'clock tonight, I'm a problem in my own community, bro. I got my own neighbors looking at me. If they don't recognize me with this hat and this beard and the way I dress with a mask, I'm a fucking threat. Again, because of my skin color with the mask. Who did that? I know how. I know what. I know when. And I know why. I saw it coming 2 months ago. Talked to my attorney about it. Here's the thing. Stay true to your heart. Stop asking how. Stop asking what. You know where the where is. And start telling yourself why. And once you come up with that answer, and you can see it as clear as your face, you already said it. Money. That's the bottom line. We're watching the elite use us, keep us distracted, asking all these questions because their bottom line is being impacted by the current president of the United States. And that's very exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. He's going after the bad guys. And we're going to help him keep doing it.
Yep.
That's right. Thank you so much for your insight today.
Hey, man.
Take in.
Hey. We're seeing a lot. We got the National Guards in our streets, guys.
I know, it's crazy. I'm reading the comments from viewers, and they've been in love with everything you're saying. So you're on the right track. One of the things that I love somebody said is that, where did it go? Their comment was, they made a comment on what you said, and it was great, but it was basically to the point that, like when you step in your power, a lot of people have sort of a fear of being powerful. And when you step into your power, though, you accept these things. You accept the whatever the why is something that, you can use in a way to make the world a better place, but that you have to step into your power.
And you're doing that, Robbie, by having me on this platform, brother. We just have to keep talking. And this is a form of what I call truth and reconciliation that no commission wants to pay trillions of dollars to do. It's just acknowledge what you've done wrong and fix it. It seems simple to me. Mm-hmm. You can't have anyone come to your house and say they're going to fix your dishwasher and they leave it a mess for more than 3 weeks and they keep telling you, oh, I'll get around to it. No, bro. First of all, I don't even understand why it's just a dishwasher. One, you're either going to repair it and put it back together. 2, I'm going to either get my money back. 3, I can sue you and be caught up with this madness for the next 3 years. Or 4, I could just throw what you've destroyed and go get me a new and better improved dishwasher and wash my hands, no pun intended, of all of this illegal behavior. So we can't keep denying and making rational assessments to what is criminal. We wouldn't do it in our personal lives.
Yep.
So criminals are criminals. Murder is murder. Bad is bad. But we need the bad so we can see what good is.
Yeah.
Stop fighting, getting a common cold. The body gets sick. Stop talking about, oh, look like it's going to rain today. Stop complaining about things you can't control and focus on the frequency, humanely, of the things that you can, which is your words. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on with us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure. Love you tweets, man. I'm actually looking at you and Ian Chion and Cernovich, because I got to stay off for a little while.
Yeah,
but I'm always looking for you. Keep doing what you're doing, Robbie. I love what you're doing, man. You're on the right track. It's going to get better. There's light at the end of the tunnel. It's not an oncoming train, and this guy's going to be reelected, and he's going to continue to drain the swamp. And then when he drains the swamp, we have to drain the swamp in our own communities. Okay, we have a lot of pain, a lot of ignorance that we have to educate a lot of people and love a lot of people through it. And guess what, guys and girls? A lot of people just not going to make it. They're not going to follow us, and they're going to come with us. And that's okay. That's okay. That's life, right? Let's stop fighting over. Let's stop fighting over of just life, okay? And just be calm. Mind our words, mind our frequency, and move forward. Okay, guys.
Yeah. Awesome. Love you, man.
Thank you. Bye, Isaiah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for watching today. Hope you enjoyed the episode. I think it was definitely more. I would say we went to like a different place than we recently have, because a lot of the stuff we've done recently is they're sort of direct interview style, and I think we kind of we left it open. Yeah, we went with the flow and left it open today, and I think
it shows you that this show is not about an agenda. It's about listening, and it's about serving you as an audience. What is going to be informative, and hearing what he had to say was very informative to us all.
It's a unique perspective. That's it's a very unique perspective. We haven't heard anything like that recently.
And I think that it's very valuable to hear. This is why it's important to hear so many different perspectives, because that's one piece of it. There is also that piece of specific, actionable things that we can do, and not just, it's easy to say, speak in love, speak in the right frequency, be in the right frequency. But it's also, we have questions. We have questions of, how we stand up. What does it mean to fight? Does it mean that we lose emotional control? No. Maybe fighting means that we speak truth with conviction and calm emotional control, but it doesn't mean we stop fighting.
Yeah.
So
and there is specific work that we all can do to improve the future, to have a better chance in the future, to do things that will help, let's say, reelect the president in November. We can't just sort of wait, and just cross our fingers. There are things that we can do to help improve, the chances, so I do think in agreement on a lot of things. I'd say the one area where I would disagree is on the community level. On the community level, I do think we have to outreach. Mm-hmm. I do think that that's important.
And that doesn't have to happen after the bigger swamps are drained, because the reality is that's something we don't have as much control over. We do have control over who gets elected to be our city mayor, and how we hold them accountable. So it really is important what happens, in our communities, because if everybody cared with that level of importance in our communities, then we wouldn't be able to systematically have this upheaval of power from the elites, from these financial foreign interests, and whatever you want to call it, the cabal, the elites.
You can call them whatever you want. That's definitely an area where he's right on. I mean, there's a lot of really good information in there. You parse it out. It's really good stuff. I think that stuff like this, though, conversations like this, they definitely do help us grow.
Right. Yes. You can tell Isaiah is a very deep thinker, and he left a lot of seeds for us. He left a lot of, if we go in that deep inquiry, we know what he's talking about. Many of us know what he's talking about. But for those of us who might not know some of those things, he can't come out and say them directly because he'd end up with
he'd probably get banned. but I will say this, Landon knows I've never replayed one of our episodes and watched them again. And I think I'm going to have to with this episode. I think I'm going to have to actually sit in the car while I'm driving, just me, and just listen to it once more, because I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything, And so I think that's interesting that I feel that way.
Well,
afterwards.
It's an important exercise in listening from different perspectives. Sometimes we're listening just to get information. Sometimes we're listening because we want to do something. We want to take an action. Sometimes we listen because we want to be entertained. Sometimes we listen really to hear what the bigger message is.
Or in this case, you're trying to lead a conversation. Like in an interview, you kind of have to help. You're going down a road together, and you kind of have to make all the turns together.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you're listening just strictly for that, hey, let's make sure we're on the right path with each other.
But it's the same as like reading a book. Have you ever read a book at one point in your life and you read it again at another point?
And it meant something different. Yeah.
Different meaning.
Absolutely.
Or even movies, right? The Matrix has a definitely different meaning now, guys, than it did when it came out.
And it has a very different meaning to the person who made the Matrix too. They were very different people back then. Now, one of them is, they were brothers, the guys who made the Matrix. Now, one of them has transitioned and, calls him, I don't know what his pronoun is, or her. This is where I get in trouble. I don't know what the pronoun is, so I'm just not going to say. But they went super far left in their political ideology. And I don't think they realized back then when they made the movie that it would be such a great illustrative example of people deciding that they will do whatever it takes and risk whatever needs to be risked in order to know the truth. And, so that's an interesting example. I'm with you on that.
Right. Awesome. Thanks for joining us today, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Great day.
I'll let Landon talk you guys off while I